Hey everybody, Lisa Young Sutton here with another video for y'all. Today I'd like to talk about word order or card order. And I actually had two requests from two different people for this video yesterday. So I hope this clears things up for both of you and for anyone who's watching. Now this is a very important topic because I have to say this confused the hell out of me when I was first learning. I mean, this was probably the hardest thing I had to wrap my brain around. So once I figured out what was going on, I was like, okay, I have the key now. I have the key to Lenormand. So I hope this helps everyone to understand that there are a couple different ways of reading any line of cards. Okay, so first let me remind you that interpretations always depend on the question and the context of what you're asking about. So the examples I'm about to give you, if you say to yourself, well, I don't see that as saying that at all. Well, that's just because you have a different context or question in your mind when you're looking at that pair of cards. That's all. I mean, we don't have a question here, so I'm just going to throw out some examples. So I don't want you to write them down and memorize them. They're not combinations. They're just examples, okay? So let's get into this. All right, there are two primary ways to read any group of cards. We're just going to call it lines of cards. I'm only dealing with horizontal interactions in this video. I'm not dealing with vertical or diagonal. Okay, we're only talking about horizontal interactions. So there are only two ways. Well, I can't say only because somebody will dislike this video and say, no, I have another way. So I'm going to say there are two primary ways of reading any line of cards. You can either read them as a narrative or story, all right, where you have this and then you have this. In other words, this happens and then this happens. This leads to this. This follows this, right? Think about reading a comic strip. That's a narrative reading, we'll call it. The other way is to read it as a description. So that way you have a focus card and the other card will describe it. So most people choose either the first card or the center card as their focus card, and that is the card they pull first, right? So the other cards are describing that card. Now, with a narrative, the energy flows from left to right, right? With a descriptive reading, the energy is all flowing toward your focus card, right? So the other cards are describing your focus card. Now think about, think about a GT. Right? These cards were designed to be read in a tableau. Okay? That's what these cards were designed for. So, that is where they shine. Yes, you can use them in other ways, but this is where they shine. It really behooves anyone to learn this. Okay, so say you had a GT, right? And you wanted to know about your job, right? You look for your work card. Now say your work card is the anchor. Well, you look for the anchor and you're going to read the cards around it. So all those cards are going to be describing this card or telling you a story about this card. So that's where this whole idea comes from. All right? So that's a GT. Okay. Now, wait, hang on. Okay, let's get back to this. All right. So, now you want to pick a method, okay? Now we're talking about descriptions again. Still, we're talking about descriptive reading. So, focus card. Is it your first card or is it your center card? Well, that's up to you. But you really want to pick one or the other and be consistent, because if you get into a consistent technique or method, right? Your readings will just flow. They'll be clear, they'll be fast, you'll always know what you're doing. And this is important because think of it this way. Every time you have to stop and think about what you're doing, you are leaving your right brain and going back to your left. Okay, your left brain is your logical brain, right? That's the brain that you use to determine all of the methods you're going to use. That's the part of your brain that you use to decide on the meanings of the cards, right? But that's all done before you actually use them. Once you start reading, you're tapping into your right brain, your creative brain, your intuitive brain. Every time you have to stop and think about your technique or your method, you're leaving your right brain and going back to your left, and it will mess up your flow. So, having said that, let's get into our examples. Now, for each example, I'm going to use just 2 cards for each to keep things flowing quickly. And what I'm going to do is give you an example for each pair of cards for a narrative interpretation, then a descriptive, and then we're going to flip them, right? So that you can see how it will be if those cards are the other way. All right, so we're starting with clouds and crossroads. I call it the ways. I have to stop and think about what everybody else calls it. It's mostly crossroads or paths, right? All right, so clouds, ways. A narrative reading. Remember, we have this and then we have this. So this could be a way out of the confusion, because we're starting with, the story starts with confusion. This is a way out of it, right? Or the story could start with trouble. This is escaping trouble, okay? Now a descriptive reading, this is your focus card, right? So now what do you have? You have, well, you know, it's funny because this pairing actually, both of these as descriptors kind of say indecisive or unfocused, right? This is like, I can't decide which way to go, and this is, I'm totally confused, right? So these 2 cards as a description could just say indecisive or unfocused, or you could have, your focus card could be saying uncertainty. And if this is describing the uncertainty, this could be alternating uncertainties. Alternating uncertainties, right? This is describing this. And you might say, well, what is that? What the hell does that mean? Alternating uncertainties. Well, if you had a question or context, it could mean something. All right? Now, let's flip them. Flippy-do. Okay, here we go. Now we have crossroads and clouds. So now we have this, you're starting with a choice. The choice is leading where? It's leading to trouble. Okay, so this would be a bad decision, right? Or description, this is your focus card, right? So this is, we could call this a choice. Now we have an unclear choice. That's a descriptive reading. All right, next. Let's go with, here, let me start it this way. Now we have ship and ring, right? Ship and ring. Okay, narrative. You're starting with a journey. Journey is moving where? Where is this journey heading? Toward commitment. Journey toward commitment, we could say, right? As a descriptive, now we have, this is our focus card. So we could say this is a vacation. What kind of vacation? This could be an all-inclusive vacation, right? Or it could be, what if we saw this as a business trip? This would be a routine business trip. This is describing this. Okay, now let's flip it. We flip it, and now we have ring and ship. So now, in a narrative, we're starting with ring. So we're starting with a commitment, right? You're committed to what? What are you committed to? Going the distance. That's one way of saying it, okay? For a description, now we have a, say this is a contract. This is your focus card, right? We'll call it a contract. What kind of a contract? A travel contract, okay? All right, next. All right, let's start with book and key. Book and key, all right? Narrative, this happens, then this happens, okay? So this could be, you're starting with a secret, but now it's revealed, okay? You're opening it up, right? You're opening the book up. So now we have a secret is revealed. Or this could be, say you're seeing this as knowledge, right? Now it's knowledge is leading to a solution, right? So you do research and you find a solution, right? That's narrative. Now if this were a descriptive, this is our focus card, right? So say it's a secret. This is describing the secret. What kind of a secret? It's an important secret. Or what if this was a teacher? What if you, because remember, this is a descriptive reading. So say you're describing a person and this is a teacher. This would be an expert teacher, say, okay? Just one way of doing it. All right, now let's flip these. Now we have key and book. All right, narrative. Remember, the flow of energies left to right. So now we're starting the story with an answer. What about this answer? Well, it's not yet known. Okay, we don't yet know what the answer is. All right. Now say that we're looking at this as an opening, right? The story is starting with some kind of an opening. This is opening the door to what? To learning. Okay, we're opening up to learning something. All right, now for a descriptive, this is our focus card, right? So now this is a solution. What kind of a solution? An unknown solution. Or this could be, say we're seeing this as a key. This is describing the key. What kind of a key? It's a secret key, a hidden key. Say we're seeing this as a discovery, right? What kind of a discovery? A hidden discovery, okay? Or not yet known discovery, right? This is describing this. Okay, next we have house and child. House and child, okay. Narrative. Again, narrative is a story. We're starting here, we're going here, right? So we could start the story with our personal life. What about our personal life? What's happening to it? Or where is it going? It's heading toward development, right? This is something new, just starting, right? So we could say our personal life is growing, it's developing, all right? Now, what if this were a descriptive reading? Now, this is our focus card, right? So our focus card could just be a house. Well, this is describing it. This could be a small house. This could also be a child's house, a children's home, an orphanage. Okay, so say we're seeing this as our inner world. Now, this is describing it. So what of your inner world? It's small, or it's fragile, right? Or like say we see this as our foundation. It's a fragile foundation, right? Okay, now let's flip these. And now we have child and house, okay? Narrative, story, we're starting here, going to here, right? So now this could be, we're starting with something new, right? So this could be like a new path leads to security or comfort, okay? Something new leads to security or comfort, right? That's a narrative. Descriptive, okay? Now this is going to describe this. So say we see this as a child. What kind of a child? A comfortable child. What do you call that? Like a home-loving child. A home... a homely child. There you go. That's horrible. Okay. Okay, say we see this as a new development. What kind of a new development? A secure new development, right? Or a safe new development. So that's describing that. That's a descriptive reading. And I'm going to give you one more before I get too tired and start screwing up. Which happens to me a lot. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we have fish and bear. Narrative, story. The story is starting with fish and it's heading to bear. So say we see this as assets, right? Acquiring. This is a transaction card, right? So say this is acquiring new assets. Where is that leading? It's leading to a need to protect. It's leading to protectiveness or even jealousy, right? So now, would I say it that way in a reading? Well, no, I would turn it into, a normal sounding sentence. I would put it in layman's terms, right? So if I saw this and I was reading it as a narrative and I was reading for someone, I would just say, you need to protect your assets. You need to protect your ass. Okay. So what else could this be for a narrative? This could be an exchange that leads to power, right? This, actually, this is my drinking card, and this is my overeating card. This is like drinking and eating. Wow, sounds like a party to me. All right, so now a descriptive reading for this, right? The description starts with, this is your focus card, right? So we could say this is your income. Say we're looking at this as your income. This is describing it. This would be a large income. All right, say we're viewing this as an exchange of some sort. This could be a powerful exchange. Say you're looking at this, you know, as per your question and context. Say this is your bank account. This would be a fat bank account. Wow, that's nice. All right, now let's flip them. So now for a narrative, we have like strength, right? Okay, strength. Your strength is flowing. Your strength is leading to abundance, right? Is leading to increase. Okay, you know, you're in a powerful position. It's leading to increase. That would be a narrative. Okay, for a description, right? This card is describing this card. So what is this card? Say this card is let's see, what? This is your power. Okay, what about your power? Your power is, okay, what about your power? This is describing your power, right? Like what control you have. It's fluctuating, right? This is a card of fluctuation, all right? It's flowing in different directions, okay? So that would be a descriptive reading. And, you know, like I said, you could see a million other things in this pair of cards, because you give me 12 different questions and I would give you 12 different interpretations. Okay, so there you go, everybody. I hope that helps you, and as always, leave your comments and questions below or message me. People are so quiet anymore, you know, publicly. Everybody, private messaging, man, that's the way to go now. I get it. I totally get it, and I'm down with that. I'm fine with that. All right, so as I said, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.